Good morning, everybody. Happy Easter. Thank goodness it's not raining anymore. Don't mind my little rabbit that's hiding up here. He's going to be doing his own thing. So ignore the rabbit behind the curtain. Settle. Welcome everybody to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Pottstown on this beautiful Easter Sunday. I want to take a moment to extend a warm welcome to everyone who's visiting us. Rather than gathering because we all have the same beliefs, we are an intentional community gathered around our shared promise to support each other's individual spiritual journeys. We are also intentional about bringing all ages together in today's world. That often doesn't happen. But we strongly value our UU kiddos, and we are glad they are able to participate in today's service. I would like to take this opportunity before we start to thank Carly Shell, who's our pianist and choir director, also Miss Megan and Miss Ruby for their participation with the kids, our Sparks, Flames, and Embers. And are there any announcements? Oh, and our technology team, Rick and Beth. Hey. Any announcements?
I'm Linda. Just a few announcements. The first of which, speaking of they are the Sparks, the little ones.
Yep.
We are still looking for a Spark attendant.
Spark tender?
A Spark attendant. So if anybody knows anyone that would be willing to anticipate a position, that would be willing to tender Sparks, please let me know. And we will try to pursue that. All right. Secondly, in follow-up to last week's discussion regarding the change in Article 2 in the UUA bylaws, I brought a brochure regarding General Assembly. It takes place June 20th through the 23rd, which is a Thursday through a Sunday. It is remote. So as I had said before, you can do it at home in the comfort of your pajamas and bunny slippers, as I'm looking at my bunnies here. We, as the UUFP, can send 2 delegates. So I'm looking for 2 people who would volunteer and be interested in participating and representing us. Since it is virtual, more people can, you can have more people sitting with you as you're doing it virtually. And we can also, they do offer a Sunday service, but I know we went to our worship committee to say maybe that's something we want to do as an entire fellowship on that Sunday. But please, I'm going to put this up. This is sort of what it looks like. If you can see the colors. If you're interested, please let me know if you want to be one of the delegates to GA for UUFP. Thank you.
I have 2 announcements too. Our Goddess Gathering is going to be April 14th after the service. It's the second Sunday of the month. And we're going to be making a craft for that. And I'm also doing a fundraiser for the fellowship on April 20th. It's a Saturday from 10 to 12, and we're going to be making these cute little trinket dishes. If you want to take a look, they're real flowers. It'll be really fun. It's $25 to do that. So let me know. All right, anybody else for announcements? All right, we're good. Okay, our chalice lighting. Our opening words today are: hold on to what is good, even if it is a handful of earth. Hold on to what you believe, even if it is a tree which stands by itself. Hold on to what you must do, even if it is a long way from here. Hold on to my hand, even when I have gone away from you. And now the choir is going to sing for us for Flowers That Bloom. And kiddos, if you can go to the back by the doors and meet Miss Megan, you guys are going to do B next after the song. Thank you. Okay, the kids are gonna perform a story called Fletcher and the Springtime Blossoms by Julia Rawlinson. The woods were full of chirping, bustling, sing-song sounds of spring. Fletcher bounced along with his nose in the air, sniffing the just burst buds of flowers and playing chase with the butterflies, with his head spinning with the sights and sounds. He tumbled happily down the hill into the sunny orchard, but when he picked himself up from the ground, he couldn't believe his eyes.
A soft breeze danced through the branches, carrying snowy flakes. Snow was late in spring. The Fletcher, it would be too cold for the birds, the butterflies, and there's no time to lose.
Looking for someone to tell, he trotted back up the hill and passed a pair of birds, cuckooing on a branch. You've flown to your summer home too soon, Fletcher cried. I've been down to the orchard and there's more snow on the way. Then we should fly back south, they called. But first, we must tell Porcupine. He's just come out of his bed of leaves. He needs to snuggle back down or he'll freeze.
Fletcher and the birds found Porcupine stretching. There's snow in the way, panted Fletcher. I saw it at the orchard. It will be too cold for the butterflies. The birds will need to fly south, and you must hide away.
Then I should crawl back into my bed, snuffled Porcupine sadly. But first we must tell Squirrel that he needs to hunt for food. He's eaten his winter store of nuts. He'll need to find some more. Fletcher, the birds, and Porcupine found Squirrel scampering after sunbeams. Snow is blowing in from the orchard, gasped Fletcher. It will be too cold for the butterflies, and the birds will need to fly south. Poor Porcupine must go back to bed, and you must find some food. You're right, I've eaten my spring feast, said Squirrel, and all my stores are gone. But before I hunt for more, we need to tell the rabbits to munch as much grass as they can before snow falls.
The rabbits were rolling down the hill next to their bird. Stop playing, cried Fletcher. There's snow blowing from the orchard. It will be too cold for the butterflies, the birds. We will need to fly south. Poor Porcupine must go back to bed. Squirrel needs to find food. We must munch on more grass before we eat, said the rabbit. Staggering, dizzy, is when they're together.
Let's go and play in the snow. So the rabbits hoppity roly poly flopped down the hill through the woods. They were chased by Squirrel, Porcupine, the birds,
in a galaxy full of important spots, all the way to the orchard, where the ground was white with
blossoms. The blossoms were bobbing in the branches, blossoms were blowing in the breeze, blossoms were blanketed in the ground, and not a snowflake to be found.
Those are blossoms, not snow, you foolish fox. The animals cried. Fletcher blinked and rubbed his eyes, feeling very silly, but then the animals scooped up pawfuls and clawfuls of blossoms from the ground and covered him in a tickly shower of fluttering white petals. Fletcher and his friends ran and played between the trees until at last they collapsed in a blossomy soft white heap.
Birds fluttered after the branches with beakfuls of blossoms to line the nest. Porcupines stuffed up a scoop. His growth dotted tiny white petals.
Squirrel went chasing up and down trees after snow white petals danced in the breeze, and the rabbits bounced back up the hill with blossoms to brighten their burrows. But Fletcher just lay smiling in the soft bed of petals, watching the blossoming branches bobbing overhead.
Thank you guys, that was really, really cute. Okay, now we're gonna do our meditation. This is a poem I found in a very old poetry book that I absolutely adore, that I found in an antique shop in Jim Thorpe. And it's called Symbol by David Morton. My faith is a doubtful thing, woven on a doubtful loom, until there comes each showery spring, a cherry tree in bloom. And Christ who died upon a tree that death had stricken bare, comes beautifully back to me and blossoms everywhere. So now we're gonna do our offering. The kiddos are gonna pass out some wooden eggs for you, and these are gonna be used later on, so hold on to them. Let there be an offering to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us, a community of memory and of hope, for we are thou the keepers of the dream. We thank you for your contribution. That's, well, that's okay. All right, so I'm going to be really honest with all of you. I really struggled writing this sermon because my heart and my mind have been consumed with a lot of worry at the state of the world lately. I try to balance my life with being informed, but riddled with anxiety, and ignorance is bliss. Easter service should be all sunshine and rainbows, and I have insecurities that I might not deliver that to you completely today. Springtime is often filled with rainstorms, and the struggle is real. When I turn on the news, I see and hear about all the horrible things people can do to each other and to our planet. And of course, it's a tumultuous election year, and in my opinion, really bad candidates all around. And the air is really heavy, and collectively, I think we're feeling a lack of control. At least I am. As this weighs on my heart and mind, I'm reminded of another time in my life when I felt this level of collective uneasiness and how nature called me back. Any of you that were alive and conscious when September 11th happened can recall exactly where you were that day when you heard about the terrorist attack. I was in 9th grade Spanish class when a contractor came into our classroom and slipped Senora Wascura a note detailing what had happened. I remember Senora's face. Her eyes got really wide and she clutched her neck. "Are you serious?" she said. And the man who sent her the note just shook his head yes. Our classroom was in a trailer outside of our main school, which was being worked on. So we didn't have a PA system hooked up. And later on, the assistant principal came in to explain the event as best as she could. The only thing I remember her saying was, "If you believe in God, now is a good time to pray." Throughout the day, friends whose parents were in the military were getting pulled from class. Teachers were crying with us as we watched newsreels on the classroom televisions. The world as we knew it was forever changed. The grown-ups in charge were really freaked out, and so were we. I remember coming home and calling my mom at work just to hear her voice. I remember hugging my little brother so tight when he got off the bus and asking my dad, "What happens now?" As you remember, the government grounded commercial and private air traffic. It was crazy how quiet the sky had become. Then we heard the helicopters from Willow Grove Air Station headed towards New York City. It was thunderous. My brother and I ran out as 7 military helicopters flew right over our tiny house. It made my head whirl. Is this a war zone? The silence they left was just as loud, and I remember only hearing my heart thudding hard in my chest and placing my hand there as I stood in that silence. I was really scared. It was a primal level of fear that I was experiencing. Everyone was in this really weird state of being for the next few days, and we tried to continue on with our lives as normal, attending school and going to work. I remember lying in my bed a few days after it happened, still feeling really anxious, and I noticed the sunlight shining through the window and the tree outside casting shadows on the wall and the wind moving the leaves ever so slightly. I soon became conscious of a bird singing, and I wish I knew now what that little bird was, but he was a sweet little brown bird. And as I watched him singing and calling out to his mate, I felt this wash of calm come over me as this little bird could find a song. When all of this craziness was going on in the world, then so could I. Life would go on, it would all be okay, and even if things got really bad for a while, it would get better eventually. And that feeling of dread completely lifted. My faith is a doubtful thing, woven on a doubtful loom, until there comes each showery spring a cherry tree in bloom. And Christ who died upon a tree that death had stricken bare, comes beautifully back to me and blossoms everywhere. This poem captures perfectly what I was experiencing in that moment, and several more moments like that since then. When I find myself in times where my faith has waned and even springtime looks dark and dreary, nature always brings me back into my true self and reconnects me with source. I have always held a very earth-centric and eclectic spiritual view, which is probably why I like this poem so much. Whether or not you're a Christian, I think you can appreciate the powerful message within the Easter resurrection story. The resurrection story is about hope, and not just the superficial, I hope you have a great day today hope, but those deep in your bones sense of hope and peace. of knowing in the darkest moments that we all go through, be it in the throes of addiction, the torturous bullies in middle school, the breakup of your marriage, the death of a loved one, a terrorist attack. The birds are going to keep singing, the flowers will bloom from that crack in the pavement, and winter will be over and spring will return. Life finds a way. Some people take themselves to the brink of self-destruction. My husband is in recovery and has had celebrated 11 years of sobriety. I didn't know him when he was in his addiction, but I heard really bad horror stories. I can't even believe he's alive, honestly. I'm so proud of him and excited that I get to be a part of his new sober life. And one of the many wise words that come out of the AA program is the serenity prayer, which I often call upon myself when I'm feeling out of sorts. God of my understanding, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. When we come out on the other side of these tumultuous times, we, much like Jesus, undergo our own resurrection and transformations. It is my feeling that in these Phoenix moments is when you can experience your deepest connection with Source. As you use, I think we are all reaching for that connection in our own way. I encourage you and myself to keep reaching for hope, even when the news is bleak and the times are dark. I'm going to look to the flowers and the bird song. Thank you. Okay, next is choir. We're gonna sing again, number 1067, Mother Earth. Okay, now we're gonna have the kiddos do a quick egg hunt. So if you'd like to participate, there are 8 eggs hidden in this room. And you can go find them right now. Don't open them up until you come to the front. Of course, my boys were the ones that hid them in the woods. I found one. All right, how many do we have? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Missing 2. That's okay. All right, line up from 1 to 8, or what number do you have? All right, there's 8's at the end. 1's, all right, over here. 1, what number is that? 3, 4. What number do you have? 5, 6. All right. The ones that are missing. Oh. I have the words written down, so I knew that was gonna happen. All right. So, number 1, go ahead, read.
Once I saw an Easter bunny.
Tom hop hop hop. So I cried, dear bunny. Will you stop, stop, stop? I ran to the window to say, how do you do?
Good job. Okay, we're gonna ask the choir to come up and sing one more song. Sorry, it's a lot of up and down today, choir. They're gonna sing 1067 Mother Earth. Oh, nope, sorry, Blow the Earth. That was close. Okay, so next we're gonna do joys and concerns. Instead of joys and concerns though, today we're gonna do something called hopes and dreams, changing it up a little bit. We ask that you come forward to the table in the middle and write down on the back of your egg your hopes and dreams for the year. What project are you working on that needs fertility and abundance? What adventure do you want to go on? What deep desire do you have that you'd like to sow into the earth and watch it bloom? By writing these things down and manifesting your dreams, you can take them home and they can be a reminder to you. You thought about his tail. He just discovered his tail. So you guys can come forward, and if you'd like to share, the microphone's here as well, so give it a couple minutes if you want to share. Kiddos, you're welcome to share too. Of red and white bracelets that the kiddos made over the past couple weeks. And they are called Martinista threads. And this is a Bulgarian tradition, and what they would do over the winter time is you would make these bracelets for your loved ones, you'd give them to them. And then when they saw the first sign of spring, like for us, it's usually like the crocus flowers that come up, they would then tie the thread to a tree, and then it would kind of symbolize like hope and fertility and things like that. So there's threads back there. If you'd like to take one, you can tie it to a tree, and the birds will use them in their nests and stuff. So thank you. Happy Easter, everybody.